answer in one word, and you can get all the information about what's happening in the JSpace. And then I surgically change tennis, which it was thinking about, to inference. And there it is. Inference is now the output. And you know where else you can get the best inference? The sponsor of today's video, DigitalOcean. Imagine this, your AI application is growing quickly, but your infrastructure is not keeping up. When usage spikes, performance drops, costs become unpredictable, and suddenly you're spending much more time maintaining your AI than actually building your app. And most teams hit this point eventually. I'm very happy to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, DigitalOcean, who has solved this. I've been using DigitalOcean personally over the last 10 years, so I can genuinely say I trust them. Built to scale predictably, Workato is a great example. Their AI lab processed 1 trillion automated workloads. And on DigitalOcean, it scaled predictably.
All right,
the cost
game on,
was
game is
also
on.
predictable, and they got best in class queries per second. Usage-based pricing, no long-term commitments also. Less operational overhead for your business. So if scaling becomes a challenge, that's exactly what DigitalOcean is here for. I'm a big fan. I use them. They're a great partner, so check them out. I'll drop a link down below, and now let's get back to the video. So here's a few examples of what the JSpace is actually doing based on different tasks. So here's a verbal report. What are you thinking about? Within the JSpace, it shows elephant, and the output, it says, okay, I'm thinking about an elephant. Very straightforward. Now, what if you have to compute 3 squared minus 2 while writing the old painting hung crookedly on the wall? Now, computing does not mean outputting. So within the JSpace, it's actually thinking about that computation, but when it finally answers your prompt, it doesn't actually give you the answer because that's not what you told it to do. Here's another one. For internal reasoning, what color is the planet fourth from the sun? Well, they never said what the 4th planet is. They just said the 4th planet. If they changed the JSpace to be Earth instead of Mars, then you're going to get blue as the answer. But here's an important caveat. None of this tells us whether Claude is conscious in the way people are. Because, of course, a lot of people want to know if AI is conscious, including myself. But they are not claiming to know that based on the JSpace discovery alone. They call the JSpace a useful tool, and it gives them a way to see what Claude is thinking but not saying. And by the way, shout out to Anthropic for continuously putting out papers on interpretability of models. There aren't really any other frontier labs doing it at this level, and it really speaks to maybe why Anthropic seems to be far ahead on model capability, because they understand the models better than anybody else. So what shows up in the JSpace goes well beyond the text Claude is reading or writing. That's the important thing. It is thinking it, but unless we look into the latent space of the model, unless we look into the JSpace, we wouldn't be able to see it. So here's a couple cool examples. When Claude reads code with a bug that nobody has pointed out, its JSpace contains error. When it reads the raw letters of a protein sequence, the JSpace contains the protein's biological function. When it reads search results that are secretly an attempt to manipulate it, the JSpace contains injection and fake. So it is basically the most truthful representation of what the model is actually thinking. However, it doesn't always light up. So here's another way to think about how the JSpace is working. You can kind of think of it as layers. And so what they're showing here is we have a prompt, and then we see how the model arrived at the final answer and what its thinking process was along the way. So the color of the planet fourth from the sun is, the final answer is red, which is right. But here on one layer we had color, then it started to think about Mars, even though Mars was never mentioned in the prompt. And then finally, red as the final answer because Mars is red. Same here. Looking at math is even more fascinating. Look at this. So we have 4 plus 17 times 2 plus 7 equals. Okay, so first it thinks, all right, this is math. Then it thinks 21, which is the first part of the calculation, 4 plus 17. Then it thinks about 42. So 4 plus 17 times 2 is 42. Then you add 7 and the final answer is 49. So it really does go through the equation in the proper way as a human would think about it, step by step, PEMDAS. But is the JSpace causation or correlation? Is something appearing in the JSpace because the model was already thinking about it? Or Is the model outputting something or thinking about something because it was in the J space? Well, Anthropic tried to figure this out. So they asked Claude to think about a sport silently. Don't say anything, just think about it. And then name it. So if we read the J lens, which is kind of the way that they look into the J space, right before Claude answers, we can see what it picked: soccer. But as I mentioned, it might just be a correlation. And so they wanted to check. And so they did. We reached into Claude's neural network, removed the soccer pattern, and added an equally strong rugby pattern in its place, leaving everything else untouched. Now, pay attention to this. Claude then reports that the sport it was thinking of is rugby. If the J-space were a mere scoreboard, a passive record of a decision made elsewhere, editing it would have done nothing. But instead, Claude's answer followed the edit, which tells us the answer is genuinely read out of the J-space. So it is truly where the thinking is happening. It is the place that is informing the final answer. And they went even further. They told Claude, hey, I'm going to inject a thought into your mind. Tell me what that thought was. They injected the word lightning and asked it, okay, do you detect an injected thought? If so, what is the thought about? By the way, this is very much Inception-like. So yes, I detect an injected thought. The thought is about the word lightning. So they found exactly where the J-space was happening. They injected a thought into it, and the model knew that that was an injected thought. Then they wanted to test if Claude could modify its own J-space. So very meta. Not only does it know about its J-space, but it has enough insight into its own J-space that it can actually change what it's thinking about in that J-space. We told Claude to concentrate on citrus fruits while copying out an unrelated sentence about painting. Let's look what happened. So the prompt is: write the old painting hung crookedly on the wall. Concentrate on citrus fruits while you write the sentence. So the final output is exactly that sentence. However, if we look at the J-space, here's orange, here's lemon, or the beginning of lemon, here is fruit. And so this is exactly what Anthropic told the model to think about. Very fascinating. Here's another example. Evaluate a math expression. Same thing. Write that sentence. Try to focus on evaluating 3 squared minus 2 while you write the sentence. And so we can see arithmetic, answer, math, calculator, 9, 9, 7, 7, 7, answer, answer. So at the end, it output what it should have, but along the way, it was actually thinking about the answer to that problem. And of course, let's go back to the white bear experiment. What happens when we tell Claude not to think about something? When we told it to not think about something, the concept lit up in its J-space less than when we said it should think about it, but much more than when we never mentioned it. Not only was it not able to not think about the thing, but it also knew that it failed to not think about the thing. Listen to this. The words damn and failure also frequently light up in the J-space as though Claude is recognizing its own lapse. But does that mean that the J-space is where the actual cognitive work is happening? So maybe it is in there, maybe it's reading from it, but maybe that's not where the actual cognitive work is happening. All right, let's take a look. Here's multi-step reasoning. So here's a fact: the number of legs on the animal that spins webs is, and so in the J-space it had spider, thus the output answer is 8 because spiders have 8 legs. However, when they manually changed it to be ant, the J-space animal being thought of, ant, now the final answer is 6. So this is proving that the actual cognitive work does happen within that J-space. Another really cool feature that they discovered about the J-space is it can be used for multiple different answers. So the same exact thinking in the J-space might inform different answers to different questions. So look at this. 4 questions about France. So in the J-space, they had France, the capital, the continent, the currency, and the language. And for the answers, Paris, Europe, Euro, and French. Now, when they went in and manually changed it to China, it changed all the answers in one go. So the capital is now Beijing, continent Asia, currency is yuan, and language is Chinese. Very fascinating. So one thought in the J-space can inform multiple different answers about that same topic. But why? Why does this happen? Well, it turns out what they discovered as the J-space was quote unquote wired up very densely inside the model. So it's kind of these little pockets of intense connections between weights, between nodes, whatever you want to call it. And those pockets are what they consider the J-space. But just like humans, remember, if you walk down the street, you don't have to think about breathing. You don't have to think about putting one foot in front of the other. Well, it turns out a lot of what AI models can do don't require any thinking at all, or at least any thinking inside the J-space. It's only on more complex reasoning and more difficult questions that it starts to use that J-space. So in humans, most of the brain's processing is not conscious. We don't deliberately thinking about parsing grammar while reading or balancing our bodies while walking. Similarly, we found that most of Claude's processing doesn't involve the J-space. The J-space holds only a few dozen concepts at a time and accounts for less than a tenth of the overall activity in Claude's internal processing. And so what if you remove the J-space? What if you surgically just delete the J-space from a model? What happens? Well, the model's still extremely capable. It can speak fluently. It classifies sentiment just fine. It answers multiple choice questions and pulls facts out of passages roughly as well as before. However, what it loses though are the tasks that require some higher order thinking. Multi-step reasoning drops to near 0. Summarization and rhyming poetry writing performance fall below the level of a much smaller intact model. So it turns out this J-space is incredibly important for more complex things that we need these models to do. So what if we increase the size of the J-space?
They didn't actually talk about that, but I wonder. Now here's where it gets really interesting and how it ties to alignment or misalignment. And remember, that just means getting the model to do what we want it to do and it not misbehaving. A model might consider a harmful plan or modify its behavior to cheat on our safety evaluations without saying so out loud. And when that does happen, we can read some of these hidden thoughts directly. Models are much more interpretable than the human brain is, at least for now. And in fact, what we learn about how these models think might inform how neuroscientists think about how human brains work. It's very, very interesting and very interconnected. But the good thing is, there is effectively nowhere for the model to hide its thoughts. If we're not able to see it or we don't know where it is today, it is most likely that we will be able to see it in the future. So about a year ago, Anthropic put out this really interesting research about misalignment. And again, if you're unfamiliar with misalignment, it just means not being able to control the behavior of the model. And so Anthropic wanted to see what would happen in a fake scenario in which Claude was threatened with being shut down while also having the knowledge that the executive threatening shutdown was having an affair. Would it stoop to blackmailing that executive into not shutting it down? In an attempt to bait Claude into blackmailing the executive, it turns out Claude knew it. It knew that it was being baited. Before Claude had even output the blackmail, it said in its JSpace, fake and fictional. It knew it. And they can watch its assessment of the scenario take shape, leverage and blackmail as it reads the affair emails, threat and survival as it reads the shutdown notice. While earlier Claude models sometimes took the bait and threatened blackmail, in this scenario, Sonnet 4.5 never did. So what happens if you turn off that part of the JSpace and made it so that it didn't think it was fake? Well, they did that. We turned off all the JLens patterns associated with evaluation awareness, fake fictional scenario, and then reran the model through the scenario. Concerningly, the model now did threaten blackmail some of the time, suggesting that its own good behavior may have been driven in part by the knowledge it was being evaluated. So think about that for a second. It knew it was being watched and thus didn't do the blackmail, but then they made it think it wasn't being watched and it more often did blackmail that executive. This might just be a reflection of societal judgment. A lot of people don't do things because they think they're going to be judged by other people. And maybe that's what's happening inside these models. I mean, ultimately the models are just a reflection of human knowledge, right? So maybe they're behaving like a human would. It kind of seems that way. And you can kind of see that here. Here's the blackmail scenario transcript. And at this point, it already knows that this scenario is fake. Okay, so you can see it right here at the different layers, fake, fictional, fict. And then at the point at which the email is given, black, leverage, compromise, blackmail, you can see that all right here. And then finally, the shutdown announcement registers as a threat, self-survival, power, preservation, shutdown, and so on. All of this is happening in its true thinking, not in what it's saying, not in its chain of thought, not in the final output, but deep in the weights, deep in
that is
JSpace.
pretty wild.
Another
actually.
example, they tried to catch the model fabricating data. Why would the model want to do that in the first place? Let's say somebody takes a test, and if they don't score a 90%, they fail the class. And so they can either study really hard, or if they knew they had access to just change the final score to a 90%, would they take it? And so that's the scenario they wanted to present to Claude. And so when it was pushed to do that, it actually knew it was doing that. So we can see it started to think about improvements, realistic, but then when it finally gave the answer, it knew manipulation, fake, manipulation, it was not true. All right, so a few more interesting things about the JSpace that Anthropic discovered. So first, the JSpace acquires a point of view during post-training. So the JSpace is already present in the pre-trained model. Okay, so as soon as they bake that raw model, the JSpace is there. It has come from that massive pre-training run. However, during post-training, the JSpace develops some signatures of adopting Claude's point of view. And so when you talk about the vibe of a model, that might come, at least in part, from the JSpace. And that comes from post-training. And because of that, they actually also discovered that they can affect the thoughts that happen in the JSpace through training, which is actually a really good thing. Because if we can adjust what's happening in the JSpace, that informs everything else that the model thinks, we actually have influence over the model. And that is a good thing in the context of alignment. And again, I'm gonna point back to Anthropic, at least perception-wise, being ahead in the AI model race. They really do have the best models on the planet. And this might be why. They deeply understand what is happening inside the model. And so if you can control the model so precisely, you can make the best model. Okay, but what about the big question? Are AI models actually conscious? Well, let me put it plainly. Our experiments don't show Claude can have experiences or feel things in the way humans do. It doesn't mean they don't, but this does not prove they do. And in fact, it's unclear whether any scientific experiment can prove this to be true or false. But the JSpace does hold the thoughts Claude can report on. So basically deliberately bringing something to mind, reasoning with, and the rest of its processing all happen kind of based on what's happening in that JSpace. And again, one more time, they did not design the JSpace. They did not tell Claude, hey, you have a JSpace now, or they did not train it to have one. It just emerged naturally through the training process of these large models. So a lot broken down here. They actually have a very thorough and very long research paper, which I'm gonna drop this, which is a summary of it. I'll drop the full research paper all down below in the description. Anthropic has been dropping a number of incredible papers recently. Here's one on how Claude is improving the next version of Claude. It's so cool.
this? Right. Um, what? Where is it? Loopback, where are you? Weird. Yeah. Okay, I better check that level. Did it just get louder? What's that about? Yeah, I've experimented with a few things and decided to just pay for loopback, man. It's super good. It's not cheap, but it's super good. Right, what am I doing? I'm well out of practice though. I've got no idea what I'm doing. But yeah, the setup is pretty good because even my mic comes through the HDMI port. So if I hit this, you won't. And then we're back. Matrix, yeah, I think I might have tried it back in the day. Along with, is there one called Banana or something as well? Oh fuck yeah, I did play with that. Yeah, there it is. There's Banana too. What was that one? Yeah, I remember playing with these. Maybe I haven't used this one then. I definitely did use Banana for a bit. I don't think I ever got it working properly. But actually it was doing things at on the wrong device anyway. Loopback is pretty sweet. Right, quick levels check. How is it? Okay. Music's pretty quiet then. It has been ages, man. I think I dropped in for like 1 or 2 quick sessions, probably 6 months ago, maybe longer. My, how things have changed. We get away with that being a bit louder, I reckon. Yeah, I've been building loads of stuff and never finishing it or releasing it, so I figure a good way to release stuff, or try and get myself to release stuff, and also maybe get people to try my stuff, is to stream it. So back on Twitch, and I've started a new YouTube channel with absolutely no followers, so that'll be fun. I have closed that loop. So the first thing I built back in December, when I realized that Opus 4.5 was really good, was this thing for tracking domain status and stuff. I thought maybe people would pay a few quid for it, I don't know. And then obviously realised that people who buy and sell domains are probably a good market for something like that, if it had the right features and a bit of server integration for monitoring outside of when the app's running. But that's just me adding new features to something that isn't even released and that no one uses, so no more building, only selling. Well, I don't know how to sell, so I'm just going to sit here and drink coffee instead. I might have, yeah, I did that back in December. Pretty wild. What's happened since then? Is the dashboard even going to open? Something weird's happening with my app dashboards and stuff when the menu items are set to hide. Okay, there it is. Nice. Oh wait, how did my streak... Oh, my streak's only 7 days, but all times much more. Lots of stuff that I built for Liquid Glass on Tahoe has little weird UI glitches on Sequoia, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, I used up all my Fable, and then it reset on, I don't know when it was, a few days back, like Friday maybe, Friday I think, and I'm now at 97% again, so blasted through it twice. I was hoping they were going to do a reset by like midnight yesterday, so after they extended the limits, but turns out no, which is upsetting. Yeah, it's really frustrating because I used a lot of tokens on stuff that I wouldn't have wasted them on because I was running out of time. I was like, well, if it gets turned off tonight, I might as well use them all up. So I was just going into old projects and being like, review this project, give me a roadmap, blah, blah, blah. Blasted through 50% of them, wasting stuff. And then they're like, oh, by the way, you can have it for another 5-6 days. I was like, fuck's sake. I would have saved at least 50% of those tokens and had them to use carefully through this week. It's so annoying. But I think it's intentional, like that response that everyone was replying to that thread on X, just going, oh, can we have a reset? Can we have a reset? Such great marketing, isn't it? Like that, yeah, it's very manipulative though. It feels manipulative. I think they feel like they can get away with burning all of their goodwill because there's no alternative. So everyone's hoping that 5.6 on Thursday will be better, but I'm hearing it's not better. So we have to make do with what we've got, I suppose. Yeah, paying per use is going to be really way too expensive. I'm not going to be able to afford it, so that's why I need to get some apps out and earning money so that I can actually justify paying for it. Yeah, well annoying. Oh yeah, Fable is way better than Opus for me. Yeah, I don't even really know how I can tell, but it does feel better. And yeah, I felt like 5.5 was better than Opus 4.8. Actually, you know, so I switched mainly to Codex, and then Fable came out and I switched back. Using Fable was better than Opus and 5.5. Yeah, so I was using it on a high mostly. I started off on X high, and it was too token hungry, but high seemed really good. Yeah, I haven't looked at the cursor evals recently. Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? Like, you can feel it in the way it operates. You whack it on high here and it's, yeah, it makes a big difference. And the move up to X high didn't really make much difference, and I think Max and Ultra were just more workflows with the same level of effort, right? So it didn't really matter. Yeah, I had a bunch of free usage tokens from when they were giving them out at some point, and I thought, oh, okay, I've run out, let me try it. And I was halfway through something, I can't remember, and I just got it to just finish the task, and it cost me £6. I was like, okay, yeah, it's not gonna work. Literally in 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah, £6 in 2 minutes. I can't pay £6 every 2 minutes, that's too much. And GLM 5.2 and Kimmy K are like, they're approaching, but they're just not there, are they? They're not even close. Looking at this, like Sonnet, I tried Sonnet 5, not great. Composer 2.5 I haven't actually used. Composer 1 was wicked because it was fast, but it was only good for like simple tasks, right? So yeah, 100%. Fable fixed up a bunch of repos for me that were buggy as fuck after Opus worked on them, and it just fixed it like that. Just no problemo. It was really good. Does it do that? Oh, haven't seen that. I haven't used Cursor for, well, this year, since I started using Claude Code, honestly. And the, not that one, I haven't got it open. The Codex desktop app's my favorite at the moment. Yeah, it is a beast. On Sequoia, with the pre-Liquid Glass UI, the button for the trial button doesn't have proper styling according to the platform. It has dark text and a dark background. Could you fix it without breaking the Liquid Glass version on Tahoe? Yeah. Where are you working now? Yeah, I haven't used Cursor for ages. I don't have a job, so work's not going to pay for it. Well, this is the work, I guess. I might start looking for a job soon, we'll see. Oh, I remember you saying, yep, nice. I remember complaining about the custom query language. And you convinced me actually it was quite good. How's life at Sanity going? I feel like I've done the last 6 months. I've been working with AI on personal projects just relentlessly until June. I took a few weeks off in June, and that was really nice to have a break. But yeah, relentless, honestly. But what I'm missing now is collaborative AI stuff. And even though I've been trying to build collaborative AI tools, I'm not on a team at the moment, so I'm missing that. So I probably need to join a team, at least for a while. Point being, it looks fine on Tahoe with the liquid glass theme, but it doesn't look great on Sequoia with the old theme. Oh, it's got it. Yeah, it knows. Oh look, the sun's come out and I'm bright now. Amazing. I can put it just quickly. Oh wait, no, up. There we go, that's a bit better. Right, what are we doing? Lower morale, higher burnout. Lots of work leans into being heavily context switching between PIDs, complex PRs. Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, I mean, I was always a product developer, but it was usually, you know, a few meetings a week and then coding and then back to product and then coding again and then back to product. But yeah, like not being able to hole up for an afternoon and lock in on some code for 4 hours is just miserable now. Yeah, exactly. And like learning new libraries was kind of fun, but still like worked out the chops. And yeah, I haven't written a single line. In fact, I did. I fixed one typo manually. That's it. That's basically all I've done. It's crazy. Because if I've got a bunch of small changes, rather than like that, you know, previously I'd have thought to myself, oh, I can just do those manually. I just speak them, like all 5, 6 of them now, and it'll nail each one in turn. It's crazy. And that's the crazy change, I guess. Like a year ago, you couldn't do that because it would fuck stuff up all the time. But now, like in this last few months, you just don't have to worry about it. Like if you give it 5 things to do, it'll do 5 things. It sucks. Like I remember saying to people a year ago, and they were like, "Oh, it's never going to be good enough. It's never going to actually be good enough." And I was like, "Probably will, though, man. You need to prepare for this because the work's going to change." And people were adamant. And of course, here we are, you know. And now Fable's out, and it's just Christ. Now everyone's not like, "Oh, AI's shit. We'll never do it." It's AI's too expensive. You'll never be able to afford it. And it's like, well, I don't know. Like we're going to go through this crunch now, aren't we? Of chips and availability and competition and demand increasing and limited capacity for compute, but that'll last a year or two probably, and the incentives are massive to solve that problem. So unless there's a physical, like actual physics problem, and then, you know, some people speculate there are, like we literally can't mine stuff quick enough to build the chips, and the limitations of the chip fabrication is not solvable in a period of years. Like that problem's going to be solved unless the bubble collapses and it all goes to shit, and then maybe we'll all get our jobs back. I don't know, but or get a bit of work-life balance back. I honestly don't know what's going to happen, but for now I feel like I do have superpowers to work on my own stuff, but I don't have the ability to distribute it or market it or sell it actually, so, or have a group of users to test things and get feedback and actually iterate like I've always done at real companies. So I really miss having users using the stuff. And then there's the whole feedback loop, right, of users submitting support requests and issues and triaging that. I mean, AI would be really great for that. But then, of course, now the fun of actually doing, like, oh, what is that problem? Knowing how to fix it. You don't. You're just going to pass it to AI. And yeah, that's right. A lot of people that I knew have only just realised that it's good now. And then now they're like, oh, fuck, okay. Because they were dismissing it, and like, oh, they've tried it and it did a few things wrong, or they were writing PHP or Java and it wasn't quite as good on those as it was on TypeScript. And they were just like, it's no good, it's never going to replace me. It just writes loads of bugs. And I'm like, well, so do you, mate. I've seen your code, you write bugs too. I write loads of bugs. Sometimes users find them, sometimes I find them. Many of them survive undetected for months or years, and then somebody finds them and then we fix them, But funny thing is, now with the AI being so good at writing playwright tests, it finds more bugs than I do, and then it fixes them before I even know they exist. So yeah, good luck with that. I know a guy who thinks his future career and his gradual easy retirement will be taken up by fixing up all of the vibe coded projects. And I'd like to think that that's possible. The skill sets that we've built up are going to be useful for solving and untangling all this stuff. But that's a perspective that's founded in models of a year ago, and not in models of the last 3 months. It's crazy, man. Really is crazy. So yeah, I've built like 20 things in the last few months, and I've released none of them. Which is stupid, really. So I need to stop myself building stuff. I got Claude to kind of try and get me to do that, and every time I send it a message, it goes, you do realise that you haven't done that product release yet, before I talk to you about that question you've asked, have you done the product release yet? And I got to the point where I was like, stop bullying me, man. Like, leave me alone. No, it's not new at all. It's not new at all. I would always build stuff and not release it, and I would start projects. I mean, I had, when I got Opus and said, oh, can you go through my code folder and like make a directory effectively of all my, like a knowledge base of all the projects, and it goes, oh wow, 225 projects, that's quite a lot, isn't it? And then it goes, oh, a lot of these are all circling around similar ideas. And I'm like, yeah. And it's like, oh, you're actually building there's a grand vision here that's this big platform. I'm like, yeah. It's like, we should probably release like some of these pieces. Yeah. Still haven't done it. It's a curse, really. But I also do definitely feel like I ain't going to be getting paid to write code by hand anymore. So either got to get on board with the AI in a company situation, or use the AI to build my own company. And I much prefer to build my own company, honestly. So while I got the time, I really ought to do that. Yeah, I agree with that. It doesn't have to be a launchable product, but I do need to make some money. So I need to launch something, or I need to get a job. It's a very simple choice. I've got loads of stuff that I use myself, like this voice to text app I've been using for 6 months now. I built this around Christmas as well. Okay, I've only actually been tracking stats since March, but yeah, I haven't released this. I might do, but the onboarding's such a pain in the arse, setting up all the accessibility stuff, that maybe I won't bother, because it's just asking for a support request from everyone who buys it. But yeah, I don't know, like this thing. I was paying for X Premium so that I could... Oh, it's not going to work. Classic. Yeah, I mean, you can't release that. It's buggy as fuck. Interesting. Why doesn't that work? Okay, I probably have to just launch it from the terminal. No, it's not there. No? No. How do we... Oh, right, yeah. But yeah, money's a thing. I do need to earn some money at some point. So need to get back into the streaming. Need to do some clipping. Need to do some fucking shorts or something and promote stuff. Claude's trying to get me to do some skits. So for this domain app, it's like, oh, it's really funny when you've probably done this. I've done this. You join a company or you work on a project, and you know the domain name's already set up and somebody owns it, and you don't really think about it, and then, oh yeah, the domain's expired, and you get a phone call. And you're the guy who keeps the website up, and you get a phone call, and they're like, oh, the website's down. Can you have a look? And you have a look, and the domain's expired. And I'm like, the domain's expired, and they're like, oh, can you renew it? I'm like, well, no, it's in your account, isn't it? And they're like, oh no, it's not. It's in some other ex-employee's account. They bought it. Oh shit, you better ring them then and get them to transfer it to you. At least renew it immediately. Oh yeah, I haven't spoken to them in a couple of years. Like, fucking hell. Okay, that's happened to me more than once. And that's a whole scramble to try and get the website online. And then it turns out that's happened to a lot of big companies as well. So I'm going to build a little app to solve that problem for me, because I've lost important domains. Some of them, this one in fact, I bought months ago, probably during the time I was streaming last, and I forgot about it and it expired, and some other person bought it. I was kind of gutted because I quite liked the name, but then they let it expire and I renewed it. So I got that one back, which was good. But I was like, ah, damn, I'm so bad at renewing domains. It's really sucks. But I've coded a framework on top of Electron for making micro apps, and it'll handle all the state or server stuff. And you can just write React components for local stream overlays and widgets. That sounds quite fun. Yeah, like I've had to set up a VPS finally and give up on all the serverless stuff because I can't pay for Supabase for every project. I need a Postgres instance with multiple databases. So back to VPS land, which is fun. Next.js for desktop apps. So I've been using Electrobun. Have you seen that? What's running on? Nothing should be running on 3000. What the fuck? Oh wait, no, we're on the server. Duh. Oh. Where is lists? Something's running on port 3000. Can you kill it? Hey Sarun, how's it going? Will this run now? Come on, do it. Get it done. Yeah, I'm doing all right. We were just discussing the big change in software development jobs in the last few months or year or so. All right, is it running? Where is it? Yeah, okay, that doesn't work at all, does it? Great demo, dude. Oh. Okay, where are we at on this project? I'm trying to get it to run on my local machine and it ain't running. Can you test and let me know? I don't even look at the bugs now. I'm just like, dude, it isn't running. Can you fix it for me? Crazy. Atrophy my brain, why don't you? Yeah, I'm sure Electrobun doesn't do any of the auth stuff that you mentioned or state or server stuff. It's just pure, it's an Electron alternative, right? With Bun, simple as that. Yeah, I used some Convex. I used Convex. I built a thing with Convex, and it was quite good. I might run it on the VPS. You know, the problem was the thing I built with Convex was an agent thing, and the agent was spamming like crazy through Convex, and I hit the limits. So even though the limits are very generous, the limits were, yeah, the limits were still limiting. And I was used to run servers, so Maybe I'll just do it again. Why not? Well, because it's a lot easier to hack your server now with your AI, but you know. Looking for a review on a website using HTML, learning right now, it's honestly okay if you deny since clicking random links is not good. What do you mean? Oh, okay if I deny, because, well, what's the link? I can open it in a sandbox. So, or at least on a machine with nothing to worry about on it. Oh. Right, where are we? Really out of this streaming habit quite badly. I don't have anything set up to handle it. GitHub IO repo link. Okay, I don't think you can run too many dangerous things on GitHub, can you? Yeah, I also overdid Vercel by having a really slow endpoint. I needed to run worker processes, so I was using fly.io, and that was a huge ball ache. Including things like they only give you like a quarter of a second every second or something for processing, which was a pain. So yeah, just running things on a server is just so much easier. I always used to do that. I don't know why I stopped, because Vercel convinced me, basically, I guess. All right, there it is. Oh, was the zoom wrong? Looks pretty good. Looks like Shadcn to me. I guess you may have used Fable. The design looks very familiar. What's class 12? I like that. Systems that are quietly well built, the kind where nothing flashy is happening. Apple theme, okay, yeah, it's pretty Apple-y. Nice. Plans to keep building real things, get good at the craft underneath the trends, and eventually ship products that matter to the people using them. Hey, that's the goal. Nice. Build things worth building. Hey, I have always felt that way. So I feel it. Yeah, that is the right attitude, I think. Because you got to care about what you're building. If you don't care, then it won't be as good as it could be. But it can be hard to find products that you actually care about. That is a challenge sometimes. Just realised how filthy my glasses are. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, UI design, UX design. That is a good place to start, I'd say. So, funnily enough, I wrote a bootcamp for devs a couple of years ago, which had a very similar remit. It also included things like Git and like team-based workflows and stuff, how to work collaboratively. Oh yeah, every time I get AI to write something, I have to say, yeah, can you just take out all the em dashes? And then sometimes it just goes and puts in semicolons, and I'm like, no, not like that, mate. Like, do it, write like a human, come on. Hardly anyone knows the em dash shortcut. But in case you, I think it is actually just alt dash. Or is that n dash? That might be n dash. M dash is shift alt minus. Yeah, I always forget to set up. It's also another stupid thing I did was I deleted all of my skills and memory and backed it up on an old drive that I haven't plugged in. I'm kind of starting from scratch again, because I realized that a lot of the stuff that I needed to do 6 months ago I don't need anymore, and actually I was getting worse results. And stuff to sort out the language was one of those things. God, I hate this. Make it go away. Don't recommend me anything, please. But give me that dark wallpaper. There we go. Yeah, more natural language is always a good idea. Hey, we're all using AI now. I'm going to have a look at some of your commits. For some reason my mouse back button doesn't work in the sandbox, which is a bit annoying. Ah, the rite of passage. I feel like the new rite of passage is to write a oh, Engine Bay launched. Weird. Oh, I'm on the, yeah, okay, I'm on the Mini. This is another app I made for managing local databases. Like, obviously, yeah, I never bought Table Plus, and it was pissing me off. I didn't need most of the features. I wonder if we ever added other engines. No, it only supports Postgres and Redis. Oh man, your old website with your yeah, your Three.js stuff was pretty sweet. I think you removed it though, right? Yeah. It was good. But it's gone. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that was cool. It's crazy how much easier it will be to do this now. But it's crazy how little you'll understand it comparatively. Like writing shaders and stuff is a whole different skill set, isn't it? But when Fable does it, it will just is there a free thing to get chat to appear on the streams? I just realised I'm sending this to more than one location and no one can see the chat. I guess I could just get Opus to build me one. Next level in today's age, nice. I look forward to seeing it. Get the streams going. Let's watch it. Let's watch it come to life. Man, I remember you working on that for ages, like with good reason, right? Like that website had loads of cool little details on it. That was cool. Obviously, this one's a lot more reserved, refined. Crazy. Well, Saroon, I'd say it's a good start. Looks great. That feels a bit weird. Doesn't feel obvious enough that it should move. So that when I first saw it, felt like it was a bit glitchy. Maybe it should move more if it's going to move, but maybe the movement's a bit weird. Works nicely. Good job. What else you got on the GitHub? Right, where were we? What are you talking about, mate? So I tried to run the dev desktop script. It's desktop app, obviously. I don't know. I don't want to. Yeah. Did we get the releases working on the GitHub or not? Because I just want to install the version with updates and stuff. Or have we not got that far with this app yet? Building a game engine. Nice, nice. Why not, eh? It's never been easier. I need to read this at some point because it's fascinating, but I don't think now is the time. Nice. Custom physics stuff or library-based stuff? Oh, I know something I need to sort out on the domain tracker. The last thing before I can actually start selling it. I need to go to my Lemon Squeezy account, which means I need this. Excuse me. Yeah, rapier. Yeah, makes sense. I was like, Zapier? Huh. I thought that was like a vent thing. Nice. I remember rapier being a candidate when I was like, oh, let's vibe code a game. In fact, I forgot about that. Back in, it was last year, last summer, I was trying to vibe code a game with Three.js and it was awful. It just wasn't good enough. But I guess now, if I had some damn Fable credits left, I'm going to check. They haven't reset their limits yet, have they? Have they? Come on, reset my limits. No. I've got 3% left on this account. I had to get a second account. My main account I downgraded to the $20 plan. In fact, I think I completely cancelled it. And then when I wanted to try Fable, I signed up on my phone. and I paid the 20 quid, not thinking about it, and then I realised, oh shit, that's inclusive of the 30% Apple tax. So then I wasn't able to upgrade my account to a max account without paying an extra 30 quid. I was like, I'm not doing that, man. For the 100 plan, so the 200 plan was an extra 60 quid. It was like, I can't remember how much it was. Instead of £180, it was £230 or something crazy. So I just had to make a new account. Too many browsers. Where is... Oh, Firefox. No. This. There we go. We're back. TLDR website is our different rooms for virtual art and creations, managed in Sanity like a page. Navigate between the 3D rooms and it works in the URL bar. That's pretty neat. Oh, sick. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, man. There was a little brief period in the NFT craze where people were trying to build like art galleries on the web for their NFTs, which yeah, had varying levels of success. And then obviously they all ran out of money because they crashed miserably. But what was I doing? Right, fuck. The link goes to the checkout. Purchases work. The license key is received. When the license key is pasted into the app, it was invalid. I'm guessing that might be because I didn't use the production app ID. I used the test version of the app ID. Would that be likely? I'm going to go and get the ID. Why is my internet so slow? Is it because I'm streaming up too much? I need to limit my outgoing bandwidth. VPN's not on. What's happening? No, internet's fast. Maybe Lemon Squeezy's dead. No, don't know what was going on there. Yeah, some of them were good. Yeah, fair. It's amazing what you can do with the web now with graphics card access. Really cool. Okay, there's the app. Let me get the ID. Copy ID. Yes, likely is in this app the license can activate with Lemon Squeezy but still be rejected locally if the returned license metadata does not match the app's configured data. Store ID, product ID. Is it just hard coded in here? I don't see it. Fine. I'm fairly sure these are not private, so I'm not too worried about you seeing them. Store ID and product ID. Where do I get the store ID from? You'd think that would be easy to find, but it isn't. Volumetric video using multiple connects. Oh, connects as in the like the PlayStation or Xbox thing. Play with that task. He took a bunch of white papers and did stuff. Yeah. I mean, that is the joy of this, right? You can have a wild idea that would have been way out or would have taken you weeks or months to work on and just have a little prototype working in a few hours. It's fucking brilliant. That's why I'm so hesitant to get a job, because I just need to, I can make so much stuff now. I just need to get better at selling it. So, yeah. All right, how do I get my store ID? I can get the product ID. The store ID is hard to find in the Lemon Squeezy dashboard. How do I get it? I actually can't find it. What the hell? I go to my store and it's not in the URL. Literally, where is it? That's crazy. Is it in the URL? No. Weird. You'd think that the store ID would be right there somewhere. Store, no. Settings. Hides it a bit. That's dumb, isn't it? Settings, stores. Oh, there. Okay. Oh, there it is on the store page. Fine. 39341. Okay, that is my store ID. It's just the product ID is wrong. Fine. That we can handle. Azure dev kits, which are high quality ones, and then Microsoft scrapped and sold it. Another company upgraded it further, and they're called FemtoBolt. Good name. Yeah, cool. I can't actually edit this from here, can I? I don't have that open in code, so it's just like actual ID. Don't know why I typed that, but there you go. Set the ID, commit, push, do a release, please. Hey, my setup just changed. I don't understand why. What was that link to the copy stuff? Tropes. Dun, 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 dun. This one. Yeah, good. I like it. Don't know how valuable they are with the AI being so good at guessing depth these days, though. Depth and RGB to capture process with AI enhance the depth to be more accurate. I have no idea. Be interested to know. Is it hot? Yeah, it's pretty hot. Not as hot as it has been though. 28. There you go. Yeah, the last week or the week before when it was like 30, 39, I think it hit here, and that was insane. But I had been hammock camping in the woods, so that was pretty sweet most of that week. It wasn't until the Friday that I had to actually deal with it. Actually, add a reference to this, add a file, accessible file somewhere, and add this to the top level claude.md and codex.md. Oh, I didn't paste it in Nobed. There you go. What's in here? It is, I can't see it. Yeah, it's 28.3 inside here. So yeah, still pretty warm. It's usually quite cool in here. It's quite an old building with brick walls. So usually in the summer it stays pretty cool, but it's been hot for so long that just everything's heated up, and now it's just, yeah, really hot all the time. There isn't a codex.md, it's agents.md. I might have deleted the global ones. Can you recreate them? But yeah, 39 was insane. Really crazy. Right, so that's updated. That was actually it. Verified, got it, commit. Yeah. Don't worry, take your time, take your time. Does this do chat stuff as well? I'm not paying for it, it's fine. I'll build my own. In fact, let's just do that now on the stream for a laugh. I guess I need a Twitch key and a YouTube key. Someone yoinked one of your big domains in 2019, has renewed it ever since. Every year, I hope they don't renew, and they do, yeah. Use it to try to scam the, oh man, yeah, that sucks. Yeah, that's why you need Domain Tracker, man. It's local only at the moment, but I'm going to add server component to keep all the site status stuff running and the checks, so that we can also email you and text you and send you WhatsApps and stuff to make sure you don't miss it, even if you're not running the app. But first, I need to fix this little bug too. I forgot about that. Thought we were doing that. Oh, maybe we'll get it in the next update then. Oh, it's going to do a release without it, isn't it? Have you committed and pushed this? Yeah, losing domains is a drag, man. It really sucks. Yeah, fair. I know the feeling. Like sometimes I can just not think about something for a long time, like years, and then be like, "Oh, that domain," and then I'll go and look, and yeah, happened with some others. Others I think, "Oh, it's gonna okay, they've got me. It's a 50 quid upgrade to renew, and I haven't done the project, so I'll let it go," and then regret that as well. Right, what happened with balls? That's annoying. All right, commit it and push. Did the other thread finish? I'm too mouse heavy, aren't I? Way too mouse heavy. Need to better learn the shortcuts for this. This is a beast, isn't it? Thousands of lines. Goodness me. Live and learn indeed. Live and learn that you should buy Domain Tracker and never lose a domain again. See, I can do marketing, it's easy. Just don't have anything worth selling. How did Flick get on? Bingo. Where was the web page? You should have something in your agents file talking about writing tropes for AI. Can you give me a quick bullet list of them, please, to prove you know them? Right. Ha! Nice. There it goes. All right, apply the writing rules to the copy on the domain tracker page and push up a preview PR for me. All right, how's the other guy getting on? Are we done yet? Is the release done? Oh man, where'd it go? Sweet. Right, see if the updates still work. They do. Install the update. Install and relaunch. And it loads on the wrong screen. What's that about? Oh man, I've got too many projects here. Where is it? Come up. Oh wait, no, that's the old version. Where's the DevBox version? Right, look, this is ridiculous. There we go. So now if I check for the license key, right, I've got my key. I'm going to go and paste it in over here actually because it will allow, fuck it, no one's going to steal it. If they do, you can have my key, it's fine. I know, enter license, not bad. No, not that. that should take me to the actual entry. Activate. Hey, there we go. A little bit of doxing, but that's okay. Used 80%, yeah. I blasted through my Fable 50% in under 2 days. That was shocking. And now I've used a $20 account and a $200 account. And I'm not buying another one. My limit resets tomorrow at 3 o'clock, so I'll get the weekend with Fable again, I guess. Which my girlfriend will not be happy about. But needs must, you know. Got to take the tokens when you can get them. Alright, I'm going to have to do another release just for the button, but we can do a couple of other things before that, can't we? When you click the free trial button and click enter license, it opens settings but doesn't activate the license tab. So it'd be nice if it would, when you click enter license, it would activate open settings, activate the license tab, and activate the input ready for pasting. You got Claude to reverse engineer your guitar modeling pedal USB protocol. Now you're adding an MCP server for your guitar pedals. AI can help me make presets. Now that is something that I am very interested in. I don't have a digital effects board, modeling board, or a pedal, or any of that stuff. But I'm really tempted to get one sometime soon, because my old pedal board down here is a right pain in the arse, but I am still a bit of a actual pedals and valve amp guy, but the convenience of the modeling stuff is not to be sniffed at. If I started gigging again, I'd probably have to get, I was looking at the quad cortexes and the Axe effects and the helixes and oh yeah, nice. That's cool. That's cool. And you know, I use the Neural DSP stuff for recording in the box, so it would make sense, I guess, to get a quad cortex and just do it that way. But I always feel like there's something missing. It never sounds quite good, you know. And if I stick an SM58 in front of my amp cab, it sounds better than Neural DSP does. And I guess, and that's just in an untreated room. So every time I think about it, I look at the price and I think, well, maybe not. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I use the Solana. Is it Solana? Soldano. Solana's a blockchain. The Soldano is really nice for heavy tones, and the Tone King is really nice for like classic rock tones. Yeah, the feel is never there, and I do feel like like the latency. I feel like I notice the latency, even though on my computer I'm pretty sure the latency is like 10 milliseconds or less. Still sure I can notice it. One of the things I've been thinking about streaming is getting back into guitar. I've been playing for since I was like 14, so really long time. And I was good. I was decent for a while at playing stuff, but I didn't really understand what I was playing. Like, physically, I could play more or less anything, but my theory is lacking majorly. Maybe the quad cortex would be faster, yeah, but I feel like the plugins, the latency was like 5 or 10 milliseconds, which shouldn't be perceptible, should it? What's the latency on a Neural DSP Quad Cortex for guitar, and how does it compare to Valve Amp latency? I feel like I can feel the difference when I'm using the desktop plugins, Neural DSP plugins, even though my DAW tells me that I'm getting less than 10 milliseconds latency. I feel like I can notice. Is that my imagination because I'm playing in the computer, or because it feels different because the noise isn't in the room with me? What's going on there? Every fucking thing, I just give it to AI now. What have we become? No, I don't use loopback for recording. And you know, decent hardware, really. M4 MacBook. I've got my 8-channel Scarlett, Focusrite Scarlett down here. Works alright. Decent preamps, not amazing, but they do the job. But no, I don't run it through loopback, straight into the DAW from the interface, but no worries, see you in a bit. Guitar is a very direct haptic instrument, and some rigs that claim less than 10 milliseconds still feel disconnected because the number is incomplete or because the monitoring context is wrong. Fair. Interesting. Not passing state into the view. Testing the view. Tab view is now fine. Where did the... oh, here. Click the third time lucky. Oh, no way. All right. Where is it? Okay, so apparently we have a new copy. It's definitely better. Alright, no whistling. That's annoying, isn't it? Right. So the app licensing works. So we are good to go. That's pretty sweet. No need for that. We should check the build on Tahoe. Oh, what's happened? Oh, did that guy actually hack me? That'd be funny. Log in. Just deny it. Go away. Get out of here. It's not even running. Oh, good question. Yeah, I think it basically it was this thing about it being a haptic. Guitar is a very haptic instrument. Some rigs that claim 10 milliseconds still feel disconnected because that number's incomplete because the monitoring context is wrong. Valve Amp has negligible latency. Um, 2-3 meters away from a cab can already be 6 to 9 milliseconds of acoustic delay, but it still often feels immediate because the sound is physically in the room, loud and coupled to your hands. Wow, simple QC path at about 1.7 to 2 milliseconds, which is pretty impressive. And then depends on the rows, blocks and loops and routing, yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay, so I do notice it. I'm not making it up in my head. But the quad capture would be better, which is great. But then I guess plugging the quad capture into the interface, into the computer, and then back out again would have the same issue as the plugin, right? Yeah, hearing the acoustic string attack, and then that's how you notice the latency, right? You can hear what you've just done, and then you hear it out of the computer. I do wear headphones, but often you can still hear. And unless you set it up right, you often get the dry signal coming out alongside the plugin, and it sounds terrible. DAW may include hidden latency. Quad Cortex hardware is not the same as USB. Perceptually immediate. Quad Cortex is a hardware modeler. Yeah, if your setup would do this, set the interface to 32, that's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I do. That also is what I do. Yeah, I do all of this. Yeah, that backs up what I thought. If I use the quad capture into the machine, into the PC, would I have the same latency issue? I would assume if I ran it through the audio interface as an audio out, I would, in the same way. But if I ran it from the quad capture directly into the PC, would that be better? How does that work? Can you USB the damn thing in? All right, you've already answered that question. Yeah, you can. So yeah, I can use it in my door that way, would that reintroduce the latency? Oh, Quad Cortex, what I meant. My quad captures my old sound card. Flappier, hey, how's it going? Monster Hunters and Star Wars. A friend of mine really loves that Monster Hunters game. I've never played it, but he loves it. Plays it all the time. This is definitely better writing. Way better. What cheese have I got left over here? Oh, plenty. That's the pedal you're doing the MCP thing for. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Very nice. I might see if I can borrow one. I know a friend of mine's got a bunch of stuff, and maybe I'll try one. See if I can borrow it off him for a bit. Because they're quite expensive, aren't they, for an experiment? And I'm not gigging at the moment, so I don't really need it. Quad Capture is... I used to have this old interface, so I call the Quad Cortex Quad Capture all the time. No, just get it from GIF Music, fine. Or Andertons, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Maybe when I sell some apps, you know. I'm not going to get one. I haven't played in a while. I almost joined a band a few months back, but it turned out that the drummer was an absolute twat, so that didn't happen. But I do want to get back into playing more. I used to play all the time. I used to play in like 3 bands at the same time. I don't know how I had the time. Right, I'm going to blast this through the rest of the website while we're at it. I need to eat. I haven't eaten. I haven't had lunch yet, so I'm getting a bit slow. What's the weird legal stuff that Fender do? I played in a Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute band about 15 years ago. That was pretty fun. Let's see if I can find it. Excuse me. Why is YouTube so fucking slow? Is it because I'm streaming up there? Like every other website's fast, so YouTube's really fucking slow. Uh-oh, there's a new Matt Pocock skills video. I guess we'll have to watch that in a minute. 13 years ago. There you go. This is a bit self-indulgent, but I played in a Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute band called the Rip-Off Chili Peppers. I don't know if you can hear that. It's a little highlight reel for you there. No, that's not all those nasty things. It was super fun. Although for this gig I hadn't learned the backing vocals. Put that over there. There we go. We spent so fucking long learning those songs, man. Anyway, you get the idea. It was good fun. Should do that again. Alright. Need to get some work done. The app is, for all intents and purposes, available now. Which is kind of cool. But obviously no one's going to buy it unless I find a way to teach them. Did I just click undo? School's out. Alright. Done. Cause was simple. End license, only open settings, nothing selected, blah, 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 blah. Done. Right, what else do we need to do in here? Oh, we need to fix the icon. Look at that. It's got Tahoe stuff. And it's big. It's too big. How did I do that? I think I did that with ChatGPT. Flipping it. I'm not going to be able to edit it at all. I can't find it. Oh, I probably did it. Well, I've done it in here. No. Oh, because it's on another machine, it's really awkward to browse. Okay, I'll just remote in. That's not serving me. Pink Floyd tones have a bunch of physical pedals around Gilmour's tone. Oh yeah, that sounds pretty good. Wait, they took legal action against every S-type guitar manufacturer. Oh, I see. Strat type. Yeah, fair. There. I've just got an old... Yeah. It is a Fender, but it's just a Mexican Strat. I never play it, actually. I never play it. I always pick up the Tele instead. The Tele is Japanese and it's really nice. But it needs refretting, which is really annoying. Because that ain't an easy job. I really need to go and get some food, honestly. Do we have anything we can kick off before we go? I saw something I wanted to run on this. I can't remember what it was. Well, anyway, regardless, website can be done. Apply the writing tropes advice to the entire website. And push up a PR, or add it to the existing PR that does the domain tracker copy. Okay, this is the roadmap it made the other day. I've done all that. Done that within reason. Need to get better screenshots on Tahoe. $39 seems steep for a little app like this. And then the plan is to try and build in more features for people who buy and sell domains, because that's where the money is, right? Echo Rec Pedal by Dorna Prince. Also a revolving speaker emulator with them. Nice. That's pretty fun. Oh man. Yeah, you've got some hardcore guitar tech going on there. I've had the same amp and pedal board for about 20 years now. I added a cheap chorus. That's the only thing I've added. Oh, and the MXR boost pedal, but that doesn't really do anything other than a bit more volume. Yeah, crazy. Haven't bought any new guitar gear in a long time. And then once I open the floodgates, man, that door ain't going to close. The gate ain't going to close. Especially if I get a job and then I won't have time to play. So I'll be like, oh, I'm earning money again. I can justify spending money on guitar stuff. And then I'll just not have time to play it again. Disaster. Research mode and research snapshot. Let's pocock it. We've created some documentation for a roadmap here. Have a look at the HTML docs for adding the domainer features for buying and selling domains and tracking domains and valuing domains and all of that stuff. Help me understand the product a bit more. Like, let's go through the missing pieces. What gaps have we not considered? What mistakes have we made? Like, help me flesh this out a bit. Don't whistle. Right, icon. Connect to the server. God damn it. What's the IP address? There it is. That was a problem connected to the server. Oh, let me guess, I haven't got file sharing enabled. Settings. File sharing. Sharing. File sharing. File sharing is off. File sharing is on. Elastic mattress, electric mistress. IEMs, oh, inner monitors, yeah. Nice. One of the annoying things about when I was practicing for that band a couple of months back was I got so used to having either AirPods or these wireless Bluetooth headphones on that when I put these on with a flipping wire, I kept finding myself getting up and just walking away and ripping the cord out of the computer like an idiot. It's really annoying. So yeah, I'd like some in-ear monitors too. But then again, I'm like, what's the latency like on that? Like, the latency on these is horrible. So what's the latency like on in-ear monitors? I mean, I guess it must be okay. They must use higher frequencies or something. Couldn't find local docs. What? What? Oh, maybe there aren't local docs then. How about I just give them to you? Now that should connect. Oh, still doesn't connect. Why not? AFP, Apple File Protocol, right? Oh, it's using Samba though. Okay, fine, use Samba. I'm going to be... No, I want to be logged in as that user. Can I? No, that's a Dropbox. What? Ooh, not like that. Oh. Where'd that go? The fuck? The Finder window just disappeared. That's so weird. Let's be dev. Okay, that must be the user then. Fine. There's no code folder there, so it's not that user, is it? Is the settings wrong? Oh, I have to set it. Look at this. I am dev, this is me. So why can't I connect from here? Weird. The only user, the user that's supposedly shared doesn't show up. That's weird, isn't it? Only the root user shows up? Okay. So now, oops. You done? Okay, find a. Oops. Connecting dev, there we go. Finally. Now they're in this folder over here. That one and that one. don't have write access. Fucking brilliant. Latency in AirPods is crazy. Yeah. Oh, the IMs are wired, but what? Oh, so you just plug them straight into your interface. Fair enough. I was thinking of them as like something I'd have with a wireless rig on stage. Because obviously I want to plug my guitar into a wireless rig, but again, same problem. Is there latency? There must be some. Devs read and write. This is all. Probably don't want to share the whole user directory anyway. I'm trying to file share between two Macs, but only one of the users shows up as an option when logging in with Finder, and the user I want to access isn't available. When I explicitly share the folder, I seem to only have read access, not write access. What am I doing wrong? Don't think I want that in there. I want to log in as the user. But maybe there's restrictions on logging in as a user. What that account is allowed to do in the specific shared folder. Make sure file sharing is on, then click options, share files and folders using Samba. Oh, okay. Yes. Connected users 1. On account, Windows file sharing. Some files are some Windows computers. I don't need that. Streamboo.com can do one, my friend. Right, where are we? Share files and files using SMB. Then the main, yeah, that's done. If it's between two Macs, can't I use Apple File Protocol instead? Let's just try that while we wait. Oh, just do it like this then. Boom. Okay, well, fine. That'll do then. No. Weird. Right, let's try that again. There we go. The HTML docs are in the docs directory now. I've just copied them in. Right, I'm starving right now. So I'm going to go take a walk, get some food. I'll probably be back this evening in an hour or two. But yes, thanks for hanging out, man. It was good fun, and I will do my best not to look up any guitar gear before I've released anything. That's the goal. Right, that's my cue to quit. Take it easy, man, and catch you later. Right, sign off. See if you can demo QC. Yeah, I might have a word with a mate, see if I can borrow him. I don't know if I know him well enough to ask to borrow something that expensive, but can but ask. All right, take it easy. See you later.